Today in this video, I'm going to show you the practical steps that you need to take in order for you to get your first true web design clients in less than 2 weeks. And I mean it. Your first true web design clients in less than 2 weeks. Now, before we even start talking about how you're going to get there, I want to share with you some proofs, because proofs taste good. Recently, an agency joined me called Flight Digital. Flight Digital launched their first client acquisition system on the 21st of March. By the 25th of March, 4 days later, they closed their first $1,800 web design client. From April 1 to April 23, they made $12,400. They finished April alone with $22,000. And by the 2nd of May alone, meaning just the first 3 days of May, they made $8,300 and they finished in May with $36,000. Tyler started on the 6th of May, launched his client acquisition system by the 10th of May. And by the 14th of May, he signed his first 5,200 web design clients. Shane, on the other hand, started his ads on the 17th of February, right, with $30 a day budget. And by the 27th of February, 10 days later, he made $11,000 worth of new clients, and that's not even factoring new current leads. And another web design agency we're working with called Revenue Lift started their ads on the 20th of May. And just last week alone, they made, I think, close to $8,000 or $9,000 alone last week from an ads that has been started on 20th of May. So when I mean you can close your first web design clients in the first 3 weeks, I mean it. Devin, on the other hand, just this month, closed multiple 6 to 10K websites just after launching his first client acquisition system 8 days ago. So now that we got some social proof out of the way, I want to show you exactly how, as a total beginner, how is someone that have no proofs, no testimonials, no case studies, no big portfolios, you can go and literally in the next 2 weeks, if you're watching this right now on the probably 5th of June, how you can go and by the 20th of June, you'll be landing 3 web design clients. So now we get this out of the way, how you can actually go about getting your first 3 web design clients in the first 2 weeks, right? We gotta be using ads, right? If you know something about me and been watching my channel for a while, you know I'm not a big one on cold outreach, cold calling, cold DMs. It doesn't mean that they don't work, but I wanna be able to scale my agency to 30, 40, 50K per month, right? In the next 2 months if I want to. And I cannot be doing that using cold DMs. I mean, if you've been able to scale your web design agency to 50, 60, 70K per month just using cold DMs in a short time, I mean, come here, let me know. Because I've never heard anyone do that. But when it comes to paid ads, I know for a fact there's a lot of web design agencies that are in my program that scale to 30K, 50K per month in their first 2 months. Why? Because paid ads is a catalyzer. But it's a catalyzer of a winning offer. If your offer is broke, if your creatives are broke, if your sales process is broke, if your show up process is broke, if your service delivery is broke, paid ads not gonna do shit to you. I just wanna get this out of the way because a lot of people think that paid ads is gonna be their savior. It's gonna be the make or break for a successful web design agency. That means if you're closing already at a good closure rate, you know you gotta be closing exactly at 30%. You know that you have a good show up process that would make people show up to the call. You know you have a good offer and you know you have a good upsell system. If you actually like web design like me and you want to scale a web design agency past $10, $20, and $30,000 per month, then check out the offer that we have below. So basically what we do is we scale web design agencies to multiple 6 figures using 1 client acquisition system, 1 offer, 1 pricing, and 3 upsells. And basically we take only a small commission out of them. So that means if you don't sign any new clients, you don't pay. Simple as that. So if you want to learn more about it, check out the offer that I have below, and you can check out all the amazing testimonials from students that we help scale their agencies past 10 grand a month. Now that we get this out of the way, when you start with paid ads, you're gonna have around 5 hooks and 3 bodies. The hooks are the first 20 seconds of the ad, and the bodies are whatever is remaining on that ad, right? Because 5 hooks, 3 bodies, those are gonna give us 15 ads. And an ad could be something like this one right here. So now that you have your 5 hooks and 3 bodies, you can get them edited. Just as a bonus for you, you know the Google VO tree that everybody's going crazy with? We've already internally in my agency made close to $18,000 last week just from it alone. Just from the ads that we created using Google VO tree. So you gotta be fast with it because literally this is your chance. Because if you're someone that's been saying before, I cannot create ads because I can't speak proper English, I don't have a good personality in camera, whatever, this is your chance to create amazing ads that beats 99% of people using AI. Of course, before there was HeyGen, there was a lot of AI softwares, but I have never seen anything that performed better than this Google VO tree. And there is no difference between the leads and the cost per million that we get from those creatives and the creatives that we shoot internally. Like people nowadays, the average Joe, because literally if you're targeting contractors, those are like 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds. Those are not Gen Z, right? They're not familiar with the internet as much as we do. They pretty much don't know the difference between an AI creative created by VO tree and a real creative. Let me show you an example of an ad that we created using Google VO tree. Here it is.
Now that I've got your attention, let me show you actual GCs using our quote magnet system to land remodeling jobs.
So now that you create your ad using VO3, you make sure that inside your hooks and bodies, you include a very good risk reversal, meaning why people want to buy from you. You include a very good hook. For example, the previous ad that you've seen was a woman's hook, all right? I mean, I get that, but like you can, go creative. You can do whatever you want to basically grab people's attention. Good hook, good risk reversal, good offer, and testimonials, right? So the more testimonials you share in this ad, the more people are going to be able to trust you, right? And of course, testimonials, we don't only share them on the ad, we share them on our thank you page, we share them in our pitch deck, sales process, whatever, right? We keep sharing this testimonial because this is why people will trust you. So if you basically have those elements in your ad creatives, you don't have to complicate it more than that, right? Because the more you complicate it, the more you would basically mess it up, right? If you have a very good hook, very good testimonial, risk reversal, that's very fine. But make sure you don't have only one ad. As I said, 5 hooks, 3 bodies, you have 15 variations. Once you're gonna create those 15 variations, you're gonna upload them to Facebook. So right now, let's say you're working with a contractor niche. Number one, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I'm very big on going exactly with one niche, because let's say I'm just working with like plumbers, right? By the way, plumbers is a very good niche that we're working with at the moment. And if I'm working with plumbers and I'm targeting plumbers specifically, this ad is going to perform better than an ad where I'm just targeting contractors in general. So go with one niche. And after you upload your ads in Facebook, you just leave it broad. Because right now in 2025, Facebook understands exactly from the script. They transcribe your ad creative and they know exactly who you're trying to target. So you don't have to mess anything inside Facebook settings. It have become really, really easy right now that you don't have to be kind of a tech guy. You don't have to even hire a media buyer to do it. Right now, if you upload your ad to Facebook, make sure that you have at least a $30 a day ad budget, right? Because anything less than that, I didn't see that perform really well. So usually right now I'm starting with 50, but let's say you're tight on a budget, you don't have a lot of money, $30, you're still fine, right? So you start with $30 a day ad budget. Usually what you want to see is around $20 to $30 cost per lead. So again, these ads, the call to action is for them to submit a lead form, and this is a lead form inside Facebook, because there is 2 ways you can go about it. You can either make them submit a lead form, or you can make them go to a thank you page and then they can book a meeting from there, right? I would prefer the first step, them submitting a lead form, because what I've realized from testing both methods is with this method, you would get cheaper leads and cheaper meetings, and with the next method, you would get basically more expensive meetings, but there is no difference over the quality, because even the people that had booked the meeting with you directly, they'll still not show up to the call if you didn't call them, exactly like the leads, right? So you still have to include an appointment setting process in that phase between them booking a meeting or submitting a form to them hopping on a sales call in order for you to have those like 75 to 80% show up rate. So now what's gonna happen if you basically have a fire ad in the contract, I can tell because we got a lot of contractor web design agencies right now that we handle. You should see between $15 to $25 on the first couple of days. I'm talking about the cost per lead, right? And from this cost per lead, let's say you get about like 10 leads, you should basically book 7 meetings. And from 7 meetings, you should have about 5 people show up. So basically the conversion from leads to meeting that would show up would be 50%, right? So if you have about 100 leads, you would have about 50 sales calls where these prospects have showed up on these sales calls. And usually from our experience, for every 100 leads, as I said, we get 50 sales calls where the prospect have showed up, and we close about 15 clients because we have a 30% closer rate on sales calls where prospects have showed up. So those are the KPIs that I'm seeing right now consistently, right? The only thing that you have to respect is you got to understand that your ad creatives have a shelf life. Usually what's going to happen, the reason I'm telling to have 15 ad creatives ready, 5 hooks, 3 bodies, is because in the beginning, once you're going to launch these 15, of course, each one of them going to be different. They're not the same. That's the whole point of having 15 ads, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to find that 3, 4 out of them would perform really good, right? And the rest would just flop. So what we do, the first 3 days, we kill the ones that flop. We let the ones that perform really well. And then what's going to happen is these ads that perform really well, they're going to continue performing well for 2-3 weeks. And then you need basically to amplify, build on them, study these ads, see exactly what made these ads perform well. Is it the hook? Most of the time is the testimonial that you've added there. Most of the time is the risk reversal. Most of the time it's some wow factor testimonial. Amplify on that. Create another 5 hooks, 3 bodies, and amplify on the elements that have worked pretty well. Now you got to be driving this cost lead to be between $15 and $25 for a long amount of time, right? Because the hardest part in all that is to keep that cost per lead down. And right now with Google VO3, as I said, you don't have to shoot your ads yourself. So the rotation between these ads is going to be faster, and you can actually have a new batch of ads ready every 3 days with Google VO3. Like right now in this game with the Google VO3, everyone can run ads. It's impossible to tell me that I can't get results. That was a lot of barriers of entry before, because if you're not born in the state, if you don't have a good accent, if you don't speak English well, you can't run ads. But right now, someone in India, someone in Pakistan, someone in a third world country can start running perfect, amazing ads that can beat you and be a competition. So right now, in order for you to survive, you got to level up your game even more. So as I said, once you start launching ads, you should have about 3-4 meetings a day. 4 meetings a day in 2 weeks. If you're not closing at least 2 true 3 web design clients, I mean, you're doing something wrong. Because what I shared with you before in the beginning of the video is like proofs. Not just one agency. No, I'm not even talking about myself, right? Because we're doing even more numbers than that. I'm getting like 35 appointment booked every day through different niches. But I'm talking about agencies that just started in April, in March, and they achieved these results. Right now, like they're doing 36, 40, 50 grand a month, right? So if they can do it, why do you think you can't close your first web design clients in 2 weeks, right? So if you still think it's not possible, I want you to comment why. So this is basically the end of the video. I hope you got something from it, some value from it, and let me know in the comment what you want me to cover next. Cheers.